All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Go Getter. We're about to be breaking down what I see on SPY, the S&P 500 for the week. So right here, we're on an hourly time frame, right? So you can see we broke out of that 739 resistance that we were talking about last week that we wanted to test. So we broke out of that last week, and we did that on Monday, right? We ran all the way up to 749 just to reject, right? We rejected from 749 on Wednesday just to test 739, the previous resistance that we broke out of that now has become support, right? And now we're sitting at 745. So when market opens today, the two levels that I'm going to be looking at is that 749 where we rejected off of and couldn't get above, right? We ended up getting a little bit above it at 751, so I'll keep that in mind. But we ended up rejecting off that level of 749 and coming back down to where we broke out of 739, right? And bounced off of that. So right now, market is in a box. This is why we talk about the support and resistance. We can gauge where the market is bouncing off of, right? And we can gauge where it's rejected off of. And then we see exactly the box that it just came out of, right? So to the downside, if we end up breaking that 739, right, I see us testing again that 729. That was also a support during this time of 729 and 739. So I see us getting to that level of 729. I'll be looking at that right to the downside. But then say we want to bounce to the upside again and retest at 739 and bounce back up to the upside at 749, or we just run back to 749 tomorrow. I want to see us, do we reject? I want to see if we reject or do we break above it and then reach back up to them all-time highs again, which is at that 755 level, or 758 level, right? So that's what I'm seeing on SPY for tomorrow. Keep in mind that this past week on Thursday, we ended up having the jobs report for June come out, right? So we had 57,000 jobs that were added in June, but they expected 115,000 jobs to be added, right? And that's a significant decrease from what we had last year. I believe it was 172 last month. I believe it was 172 jobs that were added to our economy in May, right? And they also have the unemployment rate at 4.2%. So the unemployment rate, however, dropped to 4.2%, largely due to a slump in the labor force participation rate, which fell to the 0.3 percentage point to 61.5%, the lowest since March 2021. I also seen something about that, right? So it says household employment plummeted during the month with 507,000 fewer people reported at work. So they were saying that right now, for this month of June, we are at the lowest participation in the job market since 2021. So the market ended up actually reacting good to that, ended up going up to the upside. We'll see whether or not it holds. But the thing about the job market is right now, when it comes down to the stock market, bad news equals good news, because bad news means that they're more likely to decrease the interest rates and cut them, right? But if they're saying that, hey, they're continuously adding people and people are getting more jobs and people are working in the economy, that gives the Federal Reserve less of a reason to cut interest rates, and they might increase the interest rates, right, leaving them higher for longer. So with that being said, that's what's going on in the market tomorrow. That's what I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at those levels of 749 and 739. And if we get below 739, I want to see us test 729. And if we get above 749, if that happens, I want to see us test 755 or 758. And let's see whether or not we can continue making all-time highs, or if we stay stagnant. Right now on the daily time frame, if you end up zooming out and I clear everything out, you can see that market is just in a box when it comes down to the daily time frame, which has been choppy. We got the high of 758, and then we got the low right here of that 720, right? So we're still in that box, and let's see what happens when we break out of it, man. But right now we're in this range, and at the low of this range is where you want to accumulate. And then when we get below that range of 720, you may end up seeing us flip towards a bear market or just continuing to the downside, and however long that holds. In the meantime, man, check us out on Twitch to join our community, Full Circle Wealth, where you come out with live every Wednesday Let me pull it up on Twitch. We come out with a live every single Wednesday. Go check out our latest live and check out our clips on YouTube. On YouTube, Twitch. Subscribe to the YouTube at Full Circle Wealth. We got it all. It's your boy Go Getter. Follow me on Instagram at Official Go Getter. Follow us at Full Circle Wealth to join my community's Instagram, and click the link in the bio to join our community and get started today if you want to invest in the stock market.